every day. There's people that are homeless. They struggle for their food. They struggle to keep warm.
You see everything down here. I mean, people on drugs and drinking, and people looks like they're lost down here. They got no hope, nobody to talk to, really.
You get people living in the streets. You get people relieving themselves in the alley. You get people lining up to get into shelters. You get some pretty rough-looking dudes hanging out, acting as lookouts, enforcers.
A lot of people don't realize that even some of the poor or the desperate, there's theft at night because they'll steal their sleeping bag or they'll steal their pack. So a person wakes up and they don't have anything in the morning.
It's one of the poorest and roughest areas of Canada, a 12-block radius in Vancouver's downtown Eastside that is said to encompass up to 10,000 addicts. Drug use, prostitution, and the sale of drugs happen every couple of minutes down here, right out in the open.
On the one hand, there's a lot of illegal activity that goes on. On the other hand, we don't have enough jails to run in everybody who's breaking the law. They're dealing with an interesting mindset because we've got all these mixed messages going out about drugs. On the one hand, we keep looking at people saying this is terrible that people are taking drugs. On the other hand, we've got this mindset of, well, you know, if they want to do drugs, that's their choice. Even though, from where I sit, someone loses their freedom of choice the moment they take that first hit, and they're hooked.
Drew Snider should know. His ministry, the Lord's Reign, looks out into one of the busiest alleys in the area. It's ideally located for its purpose, providing showers to those living on its streets. But it's not an easy job. Violence and overdoses occur here regularly.
We have had people using in the showers. We've been switching over to black light, so that it makes it harder to see the veins. We've called 911 a few times because we feel someone has been overdosing, and not overdosing, but has been using in the shower and has taken an inordinately long time to come out. And when that happens, we say, we're not doctors, we're not emergency personnel, we're going to call somebody.
Drew's unique ministry was sparked by a visit to New York, where he saw another organization provide free showers. He knew it was something the downtown Eastside had needed, but the church he worked with, Gospel Mission, was on the second floor and was not an ideal place to install showers.
We're about to chalk it up as just a neat idea. And that night we found out that the organization that had been renting one of the ground floor spaces was moving out. So I went to Barry, the senior pastor, and I pitched the idea to him, and I said, ask the landlord if we can have 2 weeks to put a deal together. And as it turned out, 2 days before the deadline, we had zero in the bank, and then the phone rang.
That call provided funding to launch the initiative, but it was still a journey of faith to keep it going. Besides the funds, what they really needed was volunteers, and that's where John Sharp came in.
I got to a point in my life that I thought, it's not about me, it's not about self, it's all about being obedient, as it says in Jesus' word, teach me to do your will, Psalms 143, verse 10. And once you get out of the self-concept and the flesh, you start focusing on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is about serving and being obedient to His will and His way. And it's, you know, I myself, I have a disability, so I struggle with that, but I put away that and I focus on my abilities to go out there and serve.
He says helping someone get clean seems like a simple thing, but it actually goes much deeper.
They can shower, they can have a hot, warm cup of coffee, so they can keep their self-dignity up, right? Because your self-esteem goes down if you're dirty, smelly, stuff like that. And then they have some sense of hope. I've seen people come in and they have been prayed for. Pastor Drew has helped out those people. He's followed up. They've come upstairs. They get involved in the church upstairs, serving dinner. Miracles happen.
Brandon was a successful store manager when he fell into addiction. He found the Lord's Reign on a cold, drizzly day and started coming back regularly.
The shelter that I'm staying at right now doesn't have these kind of facilities, showers and, you know, sinks and everything like that. So on Tuesdays and Saturdays, you just stop in here now more or less to come in and say hi more than even the facilities itself. Because like I said, the people here are very nice, very helpful. You get some coffee, go for a shower and that, shave. They keep all their stuff here for you and that. So it's been very helpful.
But he says it's the sense of community that has been most meaningful to him.
It just gives you a kind of like a way of feeling like how it used to be for me before alcohol and drugs came into my life and I ended up down here, right? I mean, I was surrounded by a lot of caring people, and now, you know, down here, nobody cares except for themselves, right? You got to watch out for yourself down here, and then you come into a place like this and you can still get that feeling that, you know, there's still people there that actually are still more human, I guess is the way of saying it, caring and loving and want to help people out, right? And aren't asking for anything in return, except for, you know, just come in and enjoy yourself, relax, be safe.
And that's exactly what the goal is, says Drew, but adds that for many in the downtown East Side, it takes a lot of love, patience, and acceptance to get behind the hard shell they've had to develop to survive.
What I've seen is people that exterior starting to crack, at least when they feel like they trust the people around. And this is one of the things we try to do with the Lord's Reign, is basically have a place where people can be themselves. And they're not going to get beat up, or they're not going to be hit up for something, or they're not going to be in a deal of some sort. And they get a chance to come in, take off the mask for a while and just sit. You know, if it's having a coffee. There's something about having that basic need there that lifts it up beyond just having a coffee house or a drop-in center. There's more to it than that, and it's that whole spirit that comes around, you know, providing a need.
Drew and his team of volunteers would like the doors of the showers to be open every day and are hoping as word spreads about this unique ministry, more people will come and help.
You know, they need to actually meet somebody, and so they're called addicts, but they have a name, a personal name, and then they get to know that person, and everybody has a story. And when you get to know them by name, your heart melts inside, and you just want to start serving people. And as long as people care, there's a sense of hope. But if we stop caring in Greater Vancouver, then, you know, it's a statement of our society. And how we take care of the elderly and the people in the hospital and the vulnerable is a statement of how our society is.
Staff at the Lord's Reign know that cleaning up the downtown East Side is a task of mammoth proportions, but say as long as the funding and volunteers are available, they're committed to reaching out one shower at a time. In Vancouver, I'm Cheryl Weber for 100 Huntley Street.